Oh, hold on. Something cracking in my jaw. Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I am waiting for the ride. We're going to film for the real estate crash course. It's raining. It's cold. It's Seattle. Wanted to bring you some information about what are we doing here? The layoffs. Got a list of layoffs. It's going to get worse. I told you that September, end of September, early October, we're going to start seeing massive amounts of layoffs announced. And our president, Jeff Borgen's plan is 100% in effect. And I want to explain that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you headlines. We're going to talk about some stuff, a statement from Stellantis and can you guys all hear me? Just so you know, there's a lot of background noise back here. Do me a favor, type 1 if you can hear me really well. Let me know if I got to change that. I'm going to give you some information out of Stellantis, and this comes from one of my insiders, James. Thank you so much. And then we're going to talk about John Deere. Perfect. Everyone can hear me. So this is Stellantis' response to UAW. This is dated September 22nd. Following yesterday's publication of comments made by the UAW's communication director and the subsequent strike announcement, we question whether the union's leadership has ever had an interest in reaching an agreement in a timely manner. They seem more concerned about pursuing their own political agendas than negotiating in the best interests of our employees and the sustainability of our U.S. operation given the market's fierce competition. The fact is, we made a very competitive offer yesterday that includes all our current full-time hourly employees' earnings between $80,000 and $96,000 a year. By the end of the contract, a 21.4% compounded increase, a long-term solution for Belvedere, and significant product allocation that allows for workforce stability through the end of the contract. And yet we have still not received a response to that offer. We look forward to UAW's leadership's productive engagement so that we can bargain in good faith to reach an agreement that will protect the competitiveness of our company and our ability to continue providing good jobs. Now, what I'm about to say will probably tick off a bunch of people that are going to strike or that haven't striked yet and are about to strike. This is going to tick people off. This is what we need to understand. There is a PSYOP going on right now for your livelihood. I'm not joking. This is part of the plan. And one part of that plan is what certain unions around the country are doing. They're going for blood. They see this as a moment of prime opportunity, especially as Biden is going, you know what, I'm going to stand behind the strikers, and we got to fight. When in all reality, this is Jeff Borgen's or Joe Biden's plan all along. When Biden first got into office, he did two things. He did one that he got away with, and that was stop Trump's plan to make our country use its own oil rather than ship it off and buy more expensive oil, right? Oil dropped in price. It made energy cheaper. He changed that. That was the first thing he did when he got into office. Another thing he tried to do is he tried to change Trump's historic corporate tax cut. Now, what most people don't understand is, first off, this. Corporations employ people. End of story. When corporations have more money to spend on growing their company, it means higher wages and it means more employees. End of story. But that money for years was going to the government in the form of corporate tax, which I believe was 28%. Trump changed it to 21%. And we saw companies flourish, hire more people, put more money into R&D, and invest in our country. Joe Biden tried to change it back immediately to 28%. He didn't succeed, thank heavens. What's happening now is that unions are going for blood. They don't realize they're going to try and squeeze blood out of a turnip. Companies are already dealing with a massive recession. And I know Joe Biden changed the definition of recession. See, everything coming out of the White House right now is lies. And what you have to realize is that most people don't want to start a company. They don't want to run their own payroll. They don't want to hire. They don't want to fire. They just want to go to work, come home, and live a good life. But right now, Bidenomics, or the Inflation Reduction Act, is doing the total opposite. He is spending more money on Ukraine to hide servers that should be criminal, an act of war, which they knew what it would take to go and get those criminal servers, Democratic Party's servers over in Ukraine. This was brought up in 2014, 2015, how criminal this was, because they're hiding things on there, blackmail. We've already seen a little taste of it with his son's laptop, and you've seen how that's gotten covered up. Well, here's the truth. Companies hire people, and as these unions go for more money, you're going to find they're going to do more and more layoffs. So let's dive into those layoffs right now. All right, first story, John Deere. John Deere announces layoffs at East Moline Harvester Works. It says John Deere announced its indefinite layoff of 200 production workers at its, come on, I don't want this. Don't you hate those advertisements that just pop up and these block your screen? Layoff of 200 production employees at its East Moline Harvester Works. The layoff is effective October 16th. It says, although John Deere has hired hundreds of employees in Quad Cities in recent years, the company has consistently stated that each John Deere factory balances the size of its production workforce with the needs of the individual factory to optimize the workforce at each facility. Point is, this is only the beginning. Okay, this is only the beginning. Let's go into the internet right now and type this in, and let's see where we're at. Layoffs. Moog Music layoffs provoke dismay in synth community. Middle management is burning out, caught between layoffs and RTO. Mandatory time off. Concern over COVID-19 tax credits drives West Des Moines firms layoffs. Let's go back to that. Oh, RTO, they're not going to let me read this one, are they? It says here, middle managers are getting hit hard by burnout this year. Layoffs, busy work, and fights over remote work have stressed out many managers. Let me know down below if your company is going through this as well. More managers than non-managers are looking for new job opportunities, a Gallup poll found. The point is that the entire workforce of our country is going through a massive, massive shift. There are websites completely tracking, this is out of TechCrunch, a comprehensive list of 2023 tech layoffs. Why are there websites devoted to this? Because it's so massive. Right now, you are seeing this shift, this moving right now, where all these unions are going to start striking, and we're going to have insane supply chain delays. Think about this. What is that about to do to the Fed's mandate? Well, it's going to cause inflation to get worse. The prices for goods and services are going to get worse, which means they're going to have to raise rates even more, which means that mortgage, I already made the 8% call. I said it was going to happen by January. I said it last year. I'm telling you now, you're going to see double-digit mortgage rates by the end of spring. You've heard me. It's going to happen. Now, if you don't think that is going to cause a massive real estate crash, I got to be honest with you. Whatever you're smoking, keep it up, I guess, because ignorance is bliss until you lose your house. And I don't want that, because that is the greatest wealth that our country holds. It's sad but true. That is how most people's wealth is stored up, is in the value of their house. I want to see it different, but we've got to get people at least to a point where they have wealth in their house, and they're about to lose that. So what I want to do is have an army of Americans, and people around the world, quite frankly, because the lessons I teach are for everybody. I want you to think completely different of real estate cycles and wealth cycles, and I want you to take back the money. Let's make the middle class rich again. That is the only way we are going to keep our country out of the tyrannical hands of dictators that want to steal, kill, and destroy us. That's how serious this is. It says here, Food Panda just confirmed layoffs, says it's in talks to sell part of its Asia food, part of its corporation. Google just announced it's cutting hundreds of jobs in its recruiting organization. Why would you need people in your recruiting organization if you're not recruiting anyone? Think about this. We're going to be going into more pay freezes. I believe as the government shuts down, we're going to go into a pay freeze for the DOD, and that will probably scale this entire next year going into the elections. There has to be so much chaos going into these next set of elections that it scares the piss out of people. RTO mandates are layoffs in disguise. Check this out. This story came out a couple weeks ago, and it says, according to workplace experts, companies are daring employees to quit. And we've seen that last year where companies were making it so the open door, just leave. Why? Because then they're not on the hook for unemployment benefits. So that is a very real thing. So check this out. The return to office debate sees no end in sight as companies grapple with mandates and the employee backlash that follows. While a whopping 90% of companies plan to implement return to office policies by the end of 2024, flexibility remains a top priority for employees, and a lack of it might push them to seek other career opportunities. Here's the problem though. By the time they go to look, there will not be any other career opportunities because it'll be over. It says, however, that's exactly what some companies want. According to workplace experts CNBC make it spoke to, companies would never come out and say it because of legal implications, said Don Schwabel, managing partner at Workplace Intelligence. A company might use a return to office mandate as an opportunity to restructure its workforce. Schwabel added that one company that could be employing this covert layoff tactic is AT&T, which recently mandated that 26,000 managers across 50 states work in person, but only at offices in just 9 locations. What's that going to do to the housing market? We saw so many people leave California and leave these big metropolitan areas to go and work remotely because they literally thought this was going to last forever, only to find themselves being told, no, you got to come back. Now they're going to be forced to sell that house, and there's not going to be any buyers. This is not a joke, but it is, and I laugh because I'm going to take advantage of it. And how many of you are going to type 2 of all the people that are going to take advantage of this housing crash because of people that didn't think ahead and didn't see these cycles? Now, it doesn't say anywhere in this story where it talks about what I just told you, that one reason they want to do this and they want to get you into a position to quit is going to be because they don't want to pay unemployment benefits. Because when you get fired or laid off, the company legally has to pay you a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time. And they don't want to do that. That would be massive on the balance sheet. It equates to a huge amount of money. So my point being is that you have to be prepared for this. You have to be thinking clearly, but not a lot of people are thinking clearly. So everybody that's protesting, just know this. It's the president of the United States and the chairman of the Federal Reserve who are causing all of this. Understand that. Go after them. Your company, yeah, your C-suite execs might be getting paid an insane amount, but just understand this. Without those guys running, or ladies running the company, you wouldn't have a job. That's just how the world works. You've got to start taking accountability for you and start going, all right, you know what? I need to become rich. And that's what our country needs. You need to start thinking of Uncle Sam pointing at this saying, I need you to be rich. Because if the middle class loses the wealth of this nation, we're being taken over by tyrants. Get ready. That next pandemic's around the corner. With that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.